Marv, are you not terrified though? This is February. This is the month where Artuado broke his leg and it all came crashing down in 2008. No. It's the year where the month where Liverpool smashed Arsenal 5-1 in 2014. This is the month that Arsenal's title challenge usually crumbles into sawdust. So I'm saying, Marv,
the thing is, I love the setup that you just gave because it's really important that people say silly things. That I can just correct you really importantly. Okay?
Let's go, Marv. Let's go.
Because this is not 2014. We're not talking about the Arsene Wenger years. There is no DNA left from that time to this time. Okay, so any reference.
That is wrong, because Mikel Arteta scored in the 5-1 defeat at Liverpool. He was on the pitch and he scored.
DNA is not an individual player coming in and managing the team. There's no DNA of how we play or how the club is run from that time, okay? It's a completely different era. So whatever happened against Bolton in 2008 or Birmingham in 2000 or whatever, it's all irrelevant and erroneous information, okay?
Go on, Raya.
What the most important thing, is that Arteta is here. He's here to save us and guide us safely to the title. And even if he doesn't for any reason on earth, he has still done more for us than what Conte has done for the Spuds. So I don't
Well, he's
care.
been there like 4 times longer. First of all.
Why did Arsenal lose yesterday?
For me, I think it was more about Everton winning than Arsenal losing. I think the Everton bounce was a real thing. They went 4-5-1. Yeah, they had 3 absolute beasts in the centre of midfield, and they just out-engined us, and there was nothing that we could have done about it. And to be honest, even thinking about it now...
You didn't show up.
No.
You didn't show up. You didn't show up. You threw 5s and 6s all over the pitch.
If I look at it now and I think about what we did and I watched the game, I was like, I couldn't really ask for too much more. It's just like it didn't go for us. Those things can happen. Now, if it happens against Brentford... Now I'm like, yo, it's squeaky bum time, and now I'm thinking about what the hell we should have done in January.
It was the centre-back pairing of James Tarkowski and Connor Cody. Last season, that is Burnley and Wolves. It's not that hard to break down.
No, it is. And you will see for the rest of the season what Everton are about, and they will play very, very efficient football.
I already know what they're about. I know what Burnley were about for the last 7 years.
Very efficient, but
they're a modern-day Big Sam team, which Arsenal also used to lose to. And you alluded to Bolton earlier. You thought Bolton because Big Sam used to beat you with Arsenal. That's why you're thinking of that. And Sean Dyche is the modern-day Big Sam.
I'm telling you what, he's loving life.
No, and I think it's important.
I'm here, Brian.
We keep saying stupid stuff because all of this is going to be recorded and shared back to you afterwards in clips. That's the beautiful thing about this show. The clipping in the show is amazing.
Bringing it back to the Everton game, I felt like Everton tried really hard, but it wasn't a masterclass tactically from Dyche. I mean, he couldn't have been there that long to actually really get his system in place.
4 days.
Yeah. It just seemed like that lot were like, okay, now we're trying. And if I'm an Everton fan, I'm celebrating, but I'm also furious that where's this effort fucking been? And all they did was spam crosses. And I think if I'm an Arsenal fan, I'm looking at that going, that shouldn't have been enough to beat us. So
if Dwight McNeil is the main creative outlet on the other team, no, that should never be enough to beat any.
That wasn't true. It was Iwobi. But look, again, I think it's important that you keep saying things.
Iwobi was chucked in.
He's a Haaland graduate, so please put respect on his name, okay? He's not one of your players.
This is horrible.
So the most important thing, is that they outworked us, and they shouldn't outwork us, okay? And we still should have enough quality. I'm not saying it's okay. What I'm saying is I understand the new manager bounce. They went 4-5-1. It's really hard to break down, and they hit us on the counter. I saw Calvin Lewin play better than I've seen him play in probably 2 seasons. Yeah. Those are things just happen for them.
Much.
Great.
You got to give Sean Dyche his credit.
Yeah. No,
you got to give him. You said it wasn't a masterclass, but I disagree. I think it was a masterclass, to be honest. Because the thing is, if Lampard was there, right, you know that you're not going to get that performance out of them. They're not going to set up like that. They're not going to chuck crosses in the box. They're not going to set up in a solid way.
I think Lampard's arrogant enough to believe that he can play. And I think that's where he went wrong in probably all of his jobs, just trying to play.
But they weren't even covering as much ground. They said they covered loads of ground under Sean Dyche yesterday as well.
Dyche kept it simple, but what I mean is it wasn't necessarily the most complicated way of beating a team.
Yeah.
Get in their faces, shut Odegaard down. Odegaard had a mare for that corner, and Nketiah missed a good chance. But when Saka had a really good shot saved, to be fair, off the line. But when I watched the game, I was feeling like there was no one on the Arsenal team who was like, I'm not going to let this happen.
Yeah.
And that was what I was waiting for, where when you win titles, there's the Vincent Kompany goal where he was not going to let that title go, you know? And that's what I'm kind of looking for from this Arsenal side right now, and it wasn't there yesterday.
I can see it's a personality mismatch. There is a gap in our team for that, and it will come. Saka has done it in moments. Odegaard has done it in moments.
Absolutely.
It needed someone in that moment to take the ball by the horns and then just like make it happen.
So
but the thing is, if that Saka moment goes in, because that's a really random shot, it just happens to be cleared off the line. There are moments where you think that could have gone in our favor, but I see it as a awakening. And those awakenings are just so important on a run because you do get comfortable. You beat Man United, you beat Tottenham, you start celebrating, you think that, oh, this is just normal. We have to go back to the fundamentals and like actually dig the work in. So I'll be interested to see what happens against Brentford.
The next two games, Brentford and Man City, if there is a slip against Brentford, are we like, okay, this is where it all comes crashing down?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. That's when
even a draw, you know.
That I would be interested if that does happen. I would like to see after that, Marvin, see if you're still speaking with the same chest or you're sweating a little bit because honestly, it's February, man.
My chest is actually out today as well. There's a little. Can you see? There's a crevice. Yeah, it's out.
Nice and gents.
This is for the ladies.
Yeah,
it happens, man. February, it happens. Arsenal crumbled in the spring.
So
the DNA.
What we're saying, do we think Arsenal will crumble? Do you think they'll let it go?
I mean, listen, I still think Man City is going to win the league. I still think that if Arsenal are top with 10 games to go, then I'll start to worry, really start to worry. Can they win the league right now? Of course they could win the league right now. They're in pole position.
But why is it that you think Arsenal won't have enough?
Experience. I mean, we saw it, and I know everyone's going to say, oh, they may have learnt from last season, but the way they bottled top four, and everyone talks about us being bottlers, the way they bottled top four, it was completely in their hands. All they had to do was beat Spurs at their ground, they lost. Then they went to Newcastle, lost, and bottled it completely. Now we're talking about a title challenge. The pressure of that and top four is completely different level. So once you get to the final 10 games and you're going up against a juggernaut like Man City, who have done this time and time again, they know what this is like. This is a walk in the park.
It is a little bit of a
It's not even pressure. It's just, can they get the performances together?
There's a whole different context to that point. But
what do you mean?
So I don't think Man City are firing, and I don't think they have it to fire in this current setup. And I think there's a personnel issue in this squad why it's not happening. And even if you look at the fact that Ake and Akanji are starting centre backs for them, it's wild. And a new left back, he's good, but he's like a new left back. I just see that they're not quite where they were in the last 3-4 years, where I could see them going on a run. It made sense. This doesn't look like this is going to happen. But that doesn't mean it can't happen, because it's still
100%.
Pep, and they still got Haaland, and they still got De Bruyne, there's still class everywhere. But it doesn't feel like it did in previous years where it's about to come. And I more feel that Arsenal is for them to lose than it is for Man City to win, in my view.
Do you see Arsenal going on a 10, 12 game run then?
Yeah, I think they'll do it again. I think you just got to learn from those moments. I think that's a part of the experience, because it's interesting about like Arteta's response and the team's response in those moments. It's a bit like, I can't be more proud of my team. And actually, he knows what he needs to do, and they now know as well. It's weird because I think sometimes, like when we talk about momentum and we think about Liverpool when they lost it in the last minute with the Gerrard slip, and Leicester when they had theirs, there's little moments where you can just see, and if they happen at the right time, you can recover from them. But if it doesn't happen fast enough, it can actually happen in the last 3 games, because Liverpool went on a run for so long. They looked like they was definitely going to win the title, and then somewhere in the last 3 games was like the only mistake, and it's your captain. So I think these mistakes happening early is good for us, and getting these Man City games out of the way as well.